1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
We're holding a 5-day hands-on preservation skills workshop, and we have participants from many states. I'm here today in Harlan County, Kentucky at the Putney Ranger Station. It's a very significant CCC round log structure built in 1937.
This one was actually the first ranger station built in a state forest in Kentucky. So the point of building this structure was to actually start the whole forest management process and have somebody on site dealing with it every day. And the family might live here and they would answer the telephones and, when there were fires. But the whole point behind this, though, was to manage this forest, have somebody on site. And so it's probably one of the most significant structures that state forestry has.
We were pleased to have Moss Rudley and Paul Jensen as our trainers for this workshop. They work for the National Park Service's Historic Preservation Training Center in Frederick, Maryland.
See what's going on. I mean, this one's got some deterioration, but it's really, is it a full replacement? That's kind of where you have to make some of this determination. And there's been water coming down through this corner and gets trapped here.
We're basically responsible for the preservation in partnership with local people, preserving important historic places. So it's kind of our job to be facilitators. That's how I kind of look at us.
A log home to a settler or a person was much more secure, a lot tighter, a lot easier to insulate in the wintertime than a timbered structure. And they try to make the best availability of what limited resources there is. So once these Scotch-Irish and Scandinavians came to this country and saw this abundance of resources that we had available, they went back to log construction. All the loads are transferred to the corners of the building, thus making that notch very crucial. So when you're thinking about preservation and trying to pick these buildings up, hold them in place, crib them, you think of those load-bearing points. This is another kind of very visual inspection that you can see. But the bugs have been in there eating away. And sound testing is a good way to determine what the interior surface is, and also probing. Check them out, it's got a little softness there. You see a little bit of bug damage here and here. However, the meat of the log is in good condition. It's sound wood, still with life left to it. It's not all dry rotted or anything. But this is kind of what you see typically with a round log constructed building. But you definitely have something going on here because all these are loose from here down. You have a weak point here, so you always want to keep it supported as well on this end. So as somebody's here jacking, you'll keep somebody on this side to watch this to see how the relief opens up. We'll have somebody here watching this, as well as somebody ready with wedges to keep driving these wedges in as it comes up. So you constantly want to keep it supported. We've prepared our logs. Our logs are ready for layout, notching, whatnot. We'll have to do some hewing for these bottom logs. And the sapwood is the most susceptible to rot, insect damage, and those are those outer growth rings. So they would hew that off of there.
I hear it. I'm talking this language.
You kind of take these little scoops out. I try to work towards one toe or the other, but it's kind of a different texture used for the same purpose, flattening a log. You need to assure that you stay in the same relative plane as this log. If you get angled like this, your scribe will be off, or angled like that, your scribe will be off. So. Okay. We are working with very dangerous equipment and axes, and if you're not familiar or used to using an axe on a regular basis, they can be very dangerous. So nobody wants to get hurt, but then again, it happens. So you need to protect yourself first and foremost. Nobody grab the end of a log tongue and start to lift when nobody on the other end is ready. I really feel that communication and awareness is the key to being safe. We used scribes, then we took it and roughed it out with a chainsaw, and then finished it off with a chisel, and rolled it back and forth till we felt that our fit was acceptable for the quality of craftsmanship that this building exhibits. So you have to look at the construction of the building and match in kind both tool marks, historic details. I know it's not appropriate and you would like to do a real nice joint, but it's not what the building calls for. And in preservation, you have to really look at what the building calls for. So you don't want to overcraft. You can see all the axe marks coming in from different directions to hog the meat of this out. They were very much more careful. You see the axe notches coming in this way to follow what would have been their scribe line here.
So we don't want to put a perfect log in here that's perfectly shaped and tapered. As you can see, the original ones are fairly rough. There's knots, there's bumps. So we will be recreating that same appearance when we do these replacements. We want to keep as much of the historic material that we can. So we didn't remove the whole log. We're doing a partial log replacement with a face splice.
1, 2, 3.
Oh. When the logs have been prepared, but before they're installed in the building, we're going to take some measures to deter decay. We will install a borate liquid topical treatment that can be brushed onto the exterior of the logs. We'll also want to install borate impel rods. These are placed in holes that have been drilled into the log and then plugged with an epoxy-coated dowel. These treatments will deter wood-destroying pests and control decay fungi.
What we want to try and achieve is a blended surface that accurately is representative of this log.
1, 2, 3. Okay. Now we got it up.
Let's go.
Coming?
Oh, let down a little bit. Hey.
Okay, hold on, hold on.
There we go. Watch that. Right here.
Floor. Okay. Can't tell what's doing.
Pretty much more.
You always want to leave an area for moisture transmission between your two pieces of wood. Epoxy is not a substitute for wood. It can be used for circumstances of consolidation, of wood that has lost its structural integrity. However, you are introducing plastic. I recommend always using epoxy for more of a laminating, gluing purposes. It's not reversible. Okay. What do you mean? We're getting there.
Alright.
We gotta bring this in and down.
I meant to work this way.
Okay guys, swing her in.
Yeah. Towards us?
Yeah. All right. Just because we didn't have a log that was long enough, we have to put a splice in it. And we've already married these up so that they match pretty well.
That's the stuff you use on the boat that time?
That's correct.
Is that how you apply it on the boat?
He said Thursday's their cousin.
You want our face? In traditional times, a person was paid by their mark. Whether it was a timber framer who was cutting out joinery, he would mark his joint somehow or another in order to get paid. A mason, you'll see it all over the place. Mason's marks, they'll carve their little mark, and that's how they got paid. And it was also recognition to know that that cutter did that type of work, that cutter did that work.
If you can just give local people the skills and the knowledge they need to preserve their places, then you've done your job.
It just takes persistence, and I have to say a lot of these challenges that you run into with log structures are about problem solving and preservation in general, and being very thoughtful in problem solving and come up with inventive but not too inventive ways to do it. Hold on, easy, we're good. Okay, on three. You good on your end? 1, 2, 3.
At the end of this training workshop, we will leave the newly installed green logs in place to weather and shrink before painting them and applying the chinking and daubing. The Pine Mountain School for Practical Historic Preservation has offered preservation skills workshops since 2002. Kentucky Heritage Council's principal partner for our workshops has been the Pine Mountain Settlement School. Our other partners on the Putney Ranger Station project were the Harlan County Fiscal Court, Preservation Kentucky, and Appalshop Films.